Call to order the committee of whole meeting for the Elders City Council on Monday, April 1st, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Elders Community Center. Roll call.
Kelsey,
Present.
Zachary,
Present.
Collins,
Present.
Campbell,
Present.
Adrian texted me and said he's on the way. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Campbell, second by Dockery, approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Number 3, new business. Letter A, discussion on requiring annual training and orientation for city council and board and commission members. Vada, can I call on you for that?
Yeah, this kind of came from me. I just, my experience with the Municipal Leadership Academy, just kind of made me think that I think it should be something that we should have mandatory training. The inception of new board members, council members should have some sort of a training, and I'm not saying that necessarily every board member has to have the same training, but I think we need to be providing something. If we're not providing something, we're expecting them to figure it out. And oftentimes we're finding out that's the hard way. So I just, didn't bring it to obviously do any action tonight, but I just wanted to start conversations so we can be thinking of what training we think is necessary for council members. I think the Municipal Leadership Academy should be mandatory for everybody. And then it sounds like we're going to be doing mandatory annual training anyway to keep up with laws. So that would be sufficient there. I guess the next question is what training would be valuable for the other board members.
So besides the council, you're thinking other boards as well.
If they're running a board that legally has to abide by the open meeting laws, then yes.
So all of them basically.
If they have any potential for
Yep.
doing a legal meeting, I think it's important that we give them the proper training.
I know once a year Bettendorf has a Saturday morning retreat. They host a meeting where they all go through and update any changes. It's like from 8 to noon on a Saturday, then they get that accomplished for the year. You don't have to go anywhere. I wouldn't be opposed to that at all.
I know, our city attorney offers
just
one
gonna
free
say-
right a year.
If we decided on something like that, would that qualify, you think? Papa's right.
Yep.
Because that was part of one of the things we picked them, because they're willing to come do a free training for us at our discretion.
Yeah, but I'd say we pick up some Saturday morning, 8 to 2. Make it everybody. Make it available to actually all boards at that same meeting.
Right.
As we're talking about open meetings and all that stuff.
Is this something we can make mandatory or no?
I think,
I think we should.
Well,
especially the ones that are required by law, chapter 21 and 22 should be mandatory for everyone.
is that the one that is gonna be one of them is mandatory?
They are mandatory already. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, we don't have to send people off. We can bring somebody in to all our people. We might have to maybe have 2 dates and say, in case somebody can't come to one date.
Sure.
So we'd have to pay for one if we get one free.
And with the Municipal Leadership Academy, you don't have to go anywhere. You can sit and do it on your computer. And it's not all bunched up into the same week. We had one and then another one a month later, and then our last one is coming up middle of this month. And it was pretty painless. And
So that might be an option too, is either come to the in-house one or attend that one online.
Yeah, give them a choice. Yeah, is that training we went to was really good.
I thought it was that.
yes, but it's gonna be much more detailed than a 4-hour class. I think we had 4 hours that first night split up.
Right.
Next night, I think it was probably 3, 4 hours. So I'd say probably you're gonna have 12 hours invested in that MLA.
That's incentive to come to the city sponsored one.
But you're not gonna get the information.
Yeah.
That's the thing is they dig a lot deeper for the MLA. For somebody on the council, I think it would be more important for somebody on a board. Besides this, I don't know if it would be as valuable. They're gonna gain as much because they don't conduct as much business as we do.
maybe we can tailor it a little bit, like in-person one, hit up some of those points. Even if it doesn't go into too much detail, but at least to have the understanding that we can say that it was conducted, that we participated and signed off on that.
You know, maybe it's 6 hours, not 4 hours, something.
Sure.
We provide lunch for everybody that's there.
And I'm not looking to check a box. I'm looking to give people the tools that they need to do it properly and reduce potential liability, the risk of doing it wrong.
And I think we've learned that in the last 2 weeks. A prime example of what we're going through
Yep.
with another board, that could have benefited from that training and that information.
I think as part of that, well, we've been talking about doing an onboarding or orientation for new council and new board members too, that has all of the information that they need to get. Resources to refer to the chapter 21 and 22 in the Iowa League of Cities handbook for elected officials. I think all of that would be valuable to give out to those members when they come in and have those discussions with them and just give them those basics as part of that too.
Can't force them to read it, but we can sure give it to them.
I mean, the handbook is really easy to navigate and it has everything just in plain language and how it applies to each board and each decision even that's made and all the procedural motions and everything. So it's really very beneficial and easy to search out exactly what you're looking for.
That one packet the whole council got, wasn't League of Cities, the sunset,
Sunshine laws?
the sunshine laws.
That slideshow, PowerPoint, whatever.
Yeah, that we all had to read, and I think that one was a little less, what do I say? Not as hardcore as the League of Cities stuff. So, and I think there might be a lot of stuff in that presentation right there that might be a good starting point for the other boards.
That's what I sent the utility board.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one.
That is actually one that the city of Bettendorf uses includes in their orientation packet for all of their new board members and council too. They include that PowerPoint that I sent out to everybody as part of their orientation packet for new members. So it's a good resource.
Well, maybe you could check with Tucker and see everything they do and see if he minds if we not plagiarize the copy then.
He sent it to me already and I've been kind of going through and making one for us that has the same contents from the city of Eldridge. Cause it's, I mean, there's a lot to it, but it's all really useful information and easy to good resource for them to use and easy to get around. And it's got all of the basics that you're gonna need that will make those trainings, make a little more sense too, once they've got that, that basic knowledge.
Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, and when I was the press, we all had a little book about this big, open meetings laws. I think it was provided by the Iowa Freedom Information Council.
Who also provides training.
Yeah, but I think even getting those books and having one, and there's it's like a pocket-sized books.
Talking about Robert's rules.
No, I'm talking about the open meeting laws, the Iowa open meeting laws, and what you can talk about, what you can't talk about, spelled out. It quotes the chapter and verse, and I think that'd be a beneficial tool for every board member to at least have that. And I'd be interested in seeing if we can locate some of those even before this training starts in Nevada to provide that for these board members.
Did you say the Public Information Board? Is that what you were referring to?
The Iowa Freedom of Information Council,
Oh, okay.
and they will
Gotcha.
send you bucket loads of those things.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't think we can charge it. You can get them by,
Randy Evans. Yeah, I ordered Robert's Rules of Order, the long version, and also the condensed cheat code, just so I can browse through them and I mean, they were thick. It just came today and it's a thick book, so I won't be reading it all quickly, but
They're helpful.
It is,
Any more discussion?
So whatever information we can get and disseminate out will only benefit.
Yeah.
should be better. Go back and look at it if you have any questions or to communicate. I want to know that if you learn on the same understanding, it was great. as Ryan said, you know, not just a checkbox, make sure we grasp it and it looks good, that's what we want, so. Everybody on the same page.
Technically, if we get electronically, we should put it on our website. So the citizens, if they want to read it, they can read it, and, I mean,
That doesn't hurt.
or the check and balance for the citizens and running the city. But they're our check and balance every time they vote, so let's tool them up so they know what we're supposed to be doing.
That's a good idea. All right, we'll move on to letter B then. Discussion and consideration to approve engaging Ayers and Cooney PC to prepare and establish amendment number 2 to the Eldridge multi-residential urban revitalization plan.
So I was gonna put this item on the council agenda tonight, but then when we decided to have, some items for the committee of the whole, I thought it would be better to be discussed first and determine, if there's any appetite from the council to entertain another amendment to our multi-residential, urban revitalization plan. One of our developers, that is going to be developing a parcel, I think it's on Sixth and Franklin, right next to Ryan Fix development that's going up, or no, Windmiller, I think is going up there. The developer that's putting in a development up in that corner is interested in seeing if the city would be looking, at considering expanding our URTE zone to include that parcel. The reason that they have that request is because they would like to apply for the Iowa Workforce Housing Tax Credits. And as part of that, there has to be some sort of investment from the municipality on that. And one way we could do that would be by, including that in the URTE zone so that they can get a scheduled tax exemption as part of their development, which would then qualify them for the workforce housing tax credits. So it's an $8.1 million development project that includes 130 units, that consists of 2 50-unit buildings and 1 30-unit building, with the phases of completion anticipated to be one of the 50-unit buildings starting in September and completed by May of 2025. The other 50 units starting in April of 25 and completed around January, February 26. And then the 30-unit buildings starting September 25 with the estimated completion of about May 2026. Estimated rents for those units would be ranging from a studio with an attached garage at $975 a month to a 3-bedroom on the ground floor at $1,825. The developer is willing to pay for a market study, which is basically a housing needs assessment that would be necessary to be submitted, as part of the application for the workforce housing tax credits. And that program from the state of Iowa is, for developments that have to meet a certain criteria to be able to apply for those tax credits that include, the program having a per unit cost cap to ensure that units created are for workforce housing. Housing units must be for owner or renter occupied permanent residences and can't be offered on a shorter term rent, daily, weekly, or short-term rent lease basis. There's a lot more criteria that go into it, but basically it's to have, housing that is within a certain affordable range that meets the need for the workforce housing, coming in with, in attracting industrial and, commercial developments.
Isn't that lot zone commercial?
We're talking 90 acres, correct? No, that's.
Oh, Ivy.
Oh, so Windmiller would actually sell some land off to these guys.
They already own it, so they own
Got
the
it.
parcel next to Windmiller. It's owned by Eldridge Fields LLC. A developer, I think, that's done some development already here in Eldridge, Ben Estep.
And the lot that's up empty there is the one where Genesis is gonna go on the north side of the library.
Now, this is north of, the Emily Acres, kind of across the street from Ammo Trucking. In that corner of the Ivy Acres development.
That's where the
Building.
retention ponds at.
South of that. There's a school, there's a parcel there.
It's right next to the Windmiller development that's going up
Yeah,
there.
but I thought they went all the way to Sheridan Meadows.
They do, this would be this would be across the street from Amhoff, a little bit south, in between, just north of the Emily Acres, across the street from Amhoff, south of their huge detention pond. And it was on the final plat, there's 3 apartment buildings at that south, east corner.
Yeah, there's 3 apartment buildings.
So it is on land, on the Windmiller thing, if you want to look at it that way,
Yeah.
like where, Mike Albert's MGA Construction is. So it's west of him on that corner that butts up against Sheridan Meadows.
It's just south of the
No.
retention pond.
It's the opposite corner.
So Amhoff, you're looking at it, and then it's just south of the retention pond. It's where the units were gonna go, is my
Right,
understanding.
I mean, I can,
Kind of right by their driveway getting into Amhoff, isn't it?
Right,
right,
Right across the street.
it's right across the street from Amhoff. Cause we had mentioned once, we were worried, cause Amhoff's open off 24/7, that was gonna bother those guys. With the banging and the trucks coming in and out and loading up and all that kind of things.
it's just south of where your parents used to live, right? Yeah, just north. Or north, I mean, just north, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I understand now it's actually part of that whole big parcel.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it's just a square and corner.
Yeah.
I need time to think on that one. I mean, we can't be. So it'd be basically like a tip then.
It's the same program that we used just recently, I think, what are the apartments called, the Grand Meadows, that development, the exact same program, just expanding that to include this additional parcel.
So right now, the only piece that's left in that one when we created it is that empty lot between the condos, me, and across the street from the lumberyard.
Franklin and First.
Yeah,
Your dollar amounts for this would be considerably less than what a TIF would traditionally be. Because typically, there's some
Yeah.
set dollar amount that's
It's a scheduled
Less.
exemption that is handled through the county and not through us.
depending on the size of the development, usually like a lot less than
But they're not-
$100 or something, right? I mean, you're talking like $50,000 or something.
I'd have to see a draft copy to see how we want to do that because they're saying they're not done for 2 years, 3 years. We can do a set, consider a set amount.
It would have to be a scheduled exemption because that's part of the URTE when you set that up, just like we have it now, we could keep it on the same schedule that the other parcels are on, or we could go in and amend it for just this parcel, but it has to be set as part of the setting up that zone.
And
I
then
agree with that.
this qualifies them for other federal monies, right, or something?
Yeah, they
That's
have
the
to-
purpose of this, is they have to get this in order to get the.
They have to have some sort of investment from the city. There would have to be TIF, or we would be providing local funds or our own types of incentives on there. There has to be some sort of investment from the local public agency to be able to apply for this application. It's a lot like Grillco using the TIF that they got covered the kind of the local share that was required for them to get I don't know what the application was for that one, but it was with the state of Iowa where it was for the jobs that they created. They got some tax incentive from the state based on their partnership with the city. So it's really the same concept, but for multi-residential. It's a partnership with the state, the city, and the developer to create this housing that qualifies for workforce housing.
Are they eyeing any more land or property within the overage, or can that be disclosed?
I'm not aware of any additional property right now that this is the only parcel that they have that they're developing right now.
Okay, that's all I know.
I'd have to see the devils on the details. I don't want to sign up by an over saturation of units here either. Well, supply and demand, if they want to come, I'm all for it, but I don't know if I want to incentivize it yet.
We're open to further discussion.
Yeah, let's do some homework.
Well,
Yeah.
to, so Ayers and Cooney would be the ones that would work through that amendment, and the city would kind of drive the details on that, or what that exemption would look like, or what that schedule would be. So do you want me to bring the engagement letter from Ayles to a council agenda for discussion and consideration? Do you want further information? And that would really come, the directive would come from the city council on what that would look like. But they would be the ones that they handled the establishment and the First Amendment to that URTE that we have. And so they would handle that Second Amendment as well.
Why don't you send out the current one with the amendment out to everybody? I haven't read that for years, so we can review that.
We had consensus here to have them send out the original, so we all can look at it. Then possibly on the next council meeting, have it come back to look at authorizing them just to simply prepare and establish like a model to look at. It's not, not authorizing anything, but just approving them to create a draft of what that would look like, and then we'll have more information.
That being said, I make a motion for adjournment.
Second. Motion by Doctor, second by Yossi to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Nays, adjourned at 6:21.
I'm going to my third agenda for the night.